Well, let's weigh my bag before I start. Just under 14 kilos. It's late in the day. I don't have a long walk actually, probably about 8 miles. A bit up and down, but yeah, it won't take me long, and I want to pitch up late obviously because this is England, I'm on private land, etc, etc. Let's get going. Well, I'm starting from Carisbrooke again, which is on the outskirts of Newport. I've started from here before. That's where the castle is, which belongs to English heritage, and that's where Charles I was imprisoned before his execution in London. Carisbrooke is very close to Newport, but it's a beautiful little place. The castle is well worth a visit. I've got a few fords to cross as well, and not many people know these fords exist because they're sort of hidden away. But anyway, let's go and cross the fords. I'm a bit late out today because I've been doing yoga. I've got a problem with my hip. I'm nearly 64, so, you know, carrying all this weight, etc, etc, and I love my walking. So I've taken up yoga again. I used to do it, well, I've done it on and off for most of my life, most of my adult life. But particularly now, as you get older, it's really useful, and especially for hiking with weight on your back, etc, because it's not good for your spine or your hips or your knees, etc, etc. So I go to a YouTube channel called Man Flow Yoga. He's also got a book out as well, and it's really good. I totally recommend it. Headless magpie there. Wonder what happened to him. Probably had it blown off by a shotgun. Well, that was a pull-up. It's funny, down in the south of England, we call our hills downs, and we say downland. You go up north, they say upland. It's a strange word, down for a hill. I'll do a little bit of a pan around so you can see the view. I'm just approaching the Tennyson Trail, which runs from Carisbrooke to the Needles. From Carisbrooke to Freshwater Bay, it's a bridleway. It's a great ride on a mountain bike. I decided to take a detour into the woods. It's not a public right of way, and this is Brystone Forest. I'm going to try and work my way around to my final destination by walking through as much wood as I can. Not that I believe in anything supernatural at all. There's something about Brystone Forest that gives me the creeps. I can't explain it. It's a very ancient woodland, with a lot of human history as well. There's a lot of tumuli and tumulus in here, etc, etc. Iron Age man and whatever, Bronze Age man used to live here. But it's got a certain atmosphere. When I used to ride my bike through here at night time, I used to go as fast as I possibly could. Now, I was thinking of camping near the trig point or trigonometry point for Limiston Down. I'll have to have a think about it actually. Well, London's 80 miles away, Portsmouth 16, etc, etc. And Cherbourg is 76 miles away, and the Channel Islands are 93 miles away. Unfortunately, there's cattle, and I don't want to do battle with cattle, so I'm going down to the quarry which I've used before. Well, the sun will be rising over there tomorrow, but I doubt I'll see it. There's too much cloud around. Well, that's the top of the quarry. As I said, I've been here before. It's not a bad site, and the cattle can't get down here, I believe. Not a bad view, is it? I'm set up. I've put my wireless microphones away. I can see house lights in the distance. I was in a different spot last time I was here, so if I can see their lights, they can certainly see my lights. So I'm trying to keep a bit of a low profile here, trying to get down as low as I possibly can. Quite high wind. I've got into this dip here, which is that's why I'm in a different place, because I was over there last time. Obviously you can't see it, but it's so windy over there, so I've moved here and the wind's not so bad. I haven't got my wireless microphones on, so this is a bit noisy. I apologise for that. But anyway, I've just had a bit of food. I don't cook when I go out for one night, and often, even if I go out 3 or 4 nights, I don't cook. I don't cook at home. I can't be bothered with the faff of cooking when I'm out camping. I don't know why, but I can't. I've got a stove that I don't use and pots and pans I don't use now, but maybe on some trips I might take it out, but normally I don't. And I just have freeze-dried food, which I hydrate with ordinary water and leave it for, let's say, an hour to really soak in, and it's absolutely fine. And I eat it cold, obviously. Or I just take cooked food with me, like cooked chicken and a bit of cheese. I always carry tuna. I love tuna. But the trouble with tuna and chicken and stuff like that, it's not very moist, and it's high protein as well, and that requires more water, fluid, for your body to process it. So one of my big problems is I don't drink enough fluids. It's one of my big problems, and that's why I get a lot of cramp. I'm convinced of it. So I'm trying my best to drink as much as I can. I carried 3 litres in with me today, and I've drunk 700 mils of it. So I've got, I've got another 2 litres and a bit to go. So yeah, I'm trying my best to drink as much fluids as I can. Now, when you do these chalk ridge type walks, there is no water up here. There is no flowing streams. The streams flow, they come out farther down. There is aquifers, that's what is reservoirs up here, but the streams are at a much lower level, 400, 500 foot away or downwards. So I've been on the ridge most of the time today, so I have to carry water. So I've waffled enough. I'll probably talk to you when I'm inside the tent. I've just got a tiny bit of vodka here, and I'm going to sort of settle down for the night. It's only, what time is it, 21:25. Sun went down at, I think it's 20:29 today. It's going to come up at 6:25, I believe. So it's not going to be particularly sunny or anything like that. The weather at the moment, whether you believe in climate change or not, is definitely strange. I definitely think this has woken a lot of people up recently, how the weather is behaving in the UK in particular, and in Germany, as we saw with the flooding in Central Europe and the wildfires around the world. I think the world needs to not worry about things like mental health, worry about the future of the planet. Well, I've got my Bluetooth speaker on, as you can hear. I'm listening to Bliss, which is very sort of ambient music. And what time is it? Just before 11 o'clock. I'm starting to drift off, so I'll see you in the morning. There's not going to be a sunrise, there's no time lapse or anything like that, so yeah. I've had a good day, really enjoyed it. Not bad, is it? Behind me where the cloud is, on top of that hill there, that's St. Catherine's Down. Farthest most southerly point there is Black Gang and Black Gang Chine. I'm going to be making my way along this ridge when I leave, make my way into a village called Shorrell, which is not spelt as it sounds, another Isle of Wight idiom, and then I might even have a pint in the pub in Shorrell, let's see. But I've got about 8 miles back to the car, and it's going to be dry like this all day, so I'm going to have a good day by the looks of it. I'll show you my gaff in a minute, my tent, where I stayed last night. I've used this spot before, but hey, it's a good spot. Well, this is my gaff. That's my MSR Hubba NX Solo, or some people call it the NX1, but it's the NX Solo. It won't take long to pack up. Most of my stuff is in the bag, in the dry bags, ready to go. And obviously, I'm not going to leave any rubbish behind. I don't think most of us do. And as a wild camper, I would never light a fire in an area like this, ever. In a wood, it's a bit different, but here, I definitely don't. So yeah, let's get moving and get on the road, and I'll show you more of the scenery as I go along. Site cleared and ready for inspection. So job done. When I was a kid, I was reading The Hobbit by J.R. Tolkien, and this area always reminded me of the book. I mean, it's not exactly mountainous, but it just had that feel about it. Anyway, shut up and let's get going. It's 2 sheep, mother and lamb, wrong side of the fence. Now they're going to run away from me. I'm going to spook them out and they won't be able to get through. They don't know what to do. They're looking at me. So they're going to run off high onto the downs. So obviously the shepherd has to come out and get them somehow. I'm holding the gate for them, but obviously they're not going to come through. I'm just stressing them really, so I better leave it up to the shepherd to bring them back in. Well, that's the village of Shorrell, or Shorewell, but locally called Shorrell, and that's where I'm making my way to. The pub is shut, never mind. The thing about churches with graveyards, they normally have a tap inside, top tip for water. Well, I'm not the slightest bit religious, but that was a lovely church. I don't know what date it was built, but it's very old, and the actual graveyard is beautiful. It didn't have a tap, that's quite rare, but there's no flowers on graves here. I don't think the graveyard is used anymore, and they're very old gravestones, so it hasn't got a tap outside. Most churches do though, onwards and upwards. Well, I didn't see the mural, but there's a mural from 1440 in there. The church probably predates that. Beautiful church. They do bacon butties and tea. I am tempted, but I'm not going to stop. Well, I've just been speaking to a lady in the village for half an hour. Very interesting lady, used to live in Wolverton Manor, one of the large manors down the road. And she told me it's Shorewell, not Shorrell, and it's always been Shorewell. So there you go, just that some locals pronounce it Shorrell. So it's either or. Well, another half an hour talking to a couple who've just moved to the Isle of Wight. I do like stopping and talking to people. I mean, I like to get my head down as well, but it's nice to talk to people, it really is. This road is here for one reason, for that aerial. It used to be the ITV site for the south of Britain, basically. Very high up, it's one of the largest structures, or man-made structures in the south of England, outside of London. Some aerial, some guy ropes as well. I've actually lost my hat, probably yesterday, my outdoor research foldable radar cap. Really annoyed about that. They're only about £20, I'll buy another one. But I just don't like losing things. And it is very sunny and windy. I'm probably going to burn because I'm ginger. That's Gatcombe down there. I walked through that yesterday. That's Carisbrooke over there. And you might be able to see two chimneys. That is East Cowes, and that's the Solent where you can see some yachts. I'll zoom in a minute actually. That's Carisbrooke Castle, zoomed in. That's where my car is. Bit of a convoluted path to get to that place. It's probably going to take me about 45 minutes to get there. But it's a cracking day, honestly is. Just enough wind to keep me cool. I reckon it's about 24 degrees. Beautiful. That's Portsmouth zoomed in, or Mexico, whatever you like to call it. That's why we got a stretch of water called the Solent to stop the riffraff getting in. Only joking. Oh, it's absolutely beautiful today. This wind is fantastic as well, just enough to keep you cool, because it is pretty warm. And I'm watching the farmers getting their hay in. Massive field down there. I walked through it yesterday, as a matter of fact. But yeah, it's just England at its best, really. This part of England anyway. My favourite part of England is the Lake District, to be totally honest. But you know, this is still nice. It's very agricultural, obviously. It's been shaped by man, but that's not a problem. It still looks lovely. Oh, another disused quarry. I must bear that in mind. Again, it is trespassing, but I don't think I could be seen from the house, which is not that far away if I get to the very top. I reckon that's been killed by a mountain biker, because pheasants are pretty stupid and they run out in front of you, and the mountain biker coming down is probably taking it out. Could have put it to the side of the road, path I should say. The camera doesn't really do places like this justice. The water and man have made this sort of ditch, really, I suppose. And what happens is the trees are grown at the side and they form a bow over the top of the path. And this is why this is called Dark Lane, obviously. It runs for about 500 metres. I used to love riding my bike down here. Well, that's the outskirts of the castle, so I'm a cut 100 yards away. Well, this is me back to the car. Really good one. Really enjoyed it. See you next week.